I want to talk about a couple of tricks when you have a lot of stitches to cast on. We're talking like over 100 stitches. And I got this idea from one of my students. She's actually working on knitting this shawl. And we were in a class last night, and she had the pattern, and she read the first line of the pattern, cast on 474 stitches. And it was something like that. It was over 400 stitches. And so I went over these tricks with her, and I want to cover them with you as well, because it's a lot of work to cast on a lot of stitches. You want to get it right the first time so you don't have to work the cast on more than once. Let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, I have my yarn, I have my long needles. We're going to pretend that I'm going to cast on a lot of stitches, let's say a couple hundred stitches. So if you're doing the long tail cast on, the first thing you want to make sure is that you have enough yarn, that you make your slip knot or you start casting on with enough of a tail so that you'll have enough to work the whole cast on. To make sure you have enough yarn for the tail, go ahead and leave yourself like a 6-inch tail to start with, and wrap the needle like 25 or 50 times. Each one of these wraps is enough to cast on one stitch. So if I wrap the needle, 50 times, let's say, I'll mark that spot with my finger, and then if I double that, then suddenly I have enough yarn to cast on 100. If I multiply that by 4, I have enough to cast on 200. Now with this method, you will end up having more yarn than you need, but it is certainly better than not having enough and casting on, spending 20 minutes casting on and then realizing you don't have enough yarn for it. Okay, so I've got plenty of yarn here. I've made my slip knot. I'm going to start the long tail cast on. And the long tail cast on, this is the way I like to do it, but I think most people end up doing it the slingshot method, like this. So the second trick I want to show you is while you're sitting here and you're counting, pick a number. I always go up to 50. But if I had a lot of distractions around me, I'd probably just go up to 25. Cast on that number. Let's say I'm going to go up to 50 here. Count how many stitches you have to make sure that it's the number that you picked. So I'm going to pretend, yep, I have 50 stitches there. Take a marker, put it there, and continue casting on, never having to count those stitches again. So then I'll cast on another 50. Pretending here again. Cast on 50, count them once, place a marker, never count them again. So if you don't place the markers, you end up counting the same first 50, however many times to make sure you have the right number. Okay, so then when I'm finished counting, when I'm finished casting on, I can go 50, 100, 50, and just count what's between the markers to know where I am. And that will save you a lot of time from recounting the same stitches over and over again, and you'll know that you have enough of a tail to do the whole cast on. I hope that helps with the next pattern you encounter that says cast on 870 stitches. Good luck.